life and death situation on a desolate Pike County road. A woman is in a rollover crash. She's trapped in her car and stopped breathing, and help was minutes away. Well, as Brendan Keefe reports, our chief investigator, a stranger stopped to help, and it cost him his freedom.
The vehicle has overturned a couple of times. There is entrapment. The doors will not open.
The female is unconscious.
We couldn't get the doors open.
They're going to need life flight.
Unresponsive, and they do not believe she's breathing. It's a possible fatality.
I was westbound here on 109, fishtailed back to the right, back to the left. She hit this culvert with her front end, and she flipped end over end twice, came to rest on her wheels. Her car landed approximately right here, reaching in the car. She had no breath. Fortunately, with the help of the 3 Good Samaritans, we did get the door open.
He saved my life.
How serious was this crash?
It was very serious. They didn't think I was going to make it.
They thought you were going to die?
Yes, sir. And it took 7 hours for surgeons to put all my spinal cord back together, and then they fused it together with metal rods.
Becca Buchanan survived with one thing not broken: her faith in the heroism of complete strangers.
Given everything you've been through, do you still feel lucky?
I don't feel lucky. I feel blessed.
Blessed?
Blessed.
Why?
I drive that road every day. I've never seen Mr. Rick, but for that day, for our paths to cross, just so he could save my life, I feel blessed. And I'm blessed to know that there are still good people out there like him.
This is Rick Rickerson. I'm a retired battalion chief, Griffin Fire Department. I'm on the scene. She is unresponsive, and at this time, I don't think she's breathing.
That's right, Rick Rickerson has been on hundreds of rescues as a career firefighter, but this time the retired chief was the first responder.
It opened her airway, and her mouth was full of blood, and I cleared the blood again, and it was probably another 45 seconds before the second breath. And somewhere in that point between the second and third breath, that's when I heard, whose truck is this? He said, I need you to move your truck. And I looked at my patient, I looked back at him, and I said, I'm not leaving this patient. He turned sideways and he said, sir, I said I want this truck moved. And again, I said, I'm not leaving my patient.
I come close to, I had to really control myself to keep from arresting him just a while ago.
The man there in plain clothes is Georgia State Patrol Sergeant Scott Jeter, an instructor at the State Police Academy.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
About to place the retired firefighter in handcuffs seconds after he saved Becca's life.
All I ask you to do is just move your vehicle.
And you know, if I leave that patient with 2 civilians,
I understand all that.
and that patient goes back, not breathing, I opened up her airway to make her breathe.
I've already told you my whole background.
I don't care about your background. I care about what happened right here. You're mad at me because I don't care about your background. He kept following me, telling me he wanted me to hear him out, telling me he was a paramedic. He was once a paramedic. And I questioned him. I said, you're a paramedic. You didn't put your hands on that patient. You didn't help us open that door. All paramedics had vehicle extrication training, but he didn't do anything to assist us with this patient.
The keys weren't in Rickerson's pocket. They were still in the ignition. The engine was running when another Good Samaritan volunteered to jump in and move his truck out of the way before the first ambulance arrived on the scene. What is the most pressing thing on that scene at that moment?
By far, the life of this lady. She had only had 2 or 3 breaths. I was prepared to breathe for her if she was going to stop breathing again. I wasn't leaving that patient.
Rick Rickerson watched the Life Flight helicopter take off while handcuffed in the back of the trooper's car.
He's locking his ass up.
The retired fire chief spent the next several hours in the Pike County Jail.
What were you charged with?
Obstruction of a law enforcement officer.
You weren't rewarded with anything but a pair of handcuffs.
I was rewarded by the hug from that lady when I went to visit her at the hospital and her 5-year-old daughter. That was a reward.
He walked in, hiding behind a dozen of roses, and he just grabbed me and said, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. I'm so glad to see you're okay.
Were there tears?
Oh my gosh, yes. The whole room was crying.
She went end over end right there, and it just happened to land on the wheels right here.
Not everybody will stop, and not everybody can do what you could do. And I'm just thankful, and I'm sure she's thankful.
He saved my life. I owe him everything.
I would not do anything different. The outcome is this lady is alive. There's no cross on the side of the road on that highway.
So Rickerson is still facing charges for all this?
Yeah, the Griffin DA is still prosecuting this. The crash happened back in October. Becca was in the hospital for weeks and then spent months in rehab. She only got out just before Christmas.
And this is all because of his truck was in the way. Was it ever moved?
Yeah, it was moved within seconds, Vinny, by another Good Samaritan because the keys were in it, the engine was running, and Rick Rickerson, as fire chief in Griffin, actually wrote the book on where to park emergency vehicles. Responding to incidents like this, he parked exactly where his own manual said he should have parked his command car.
Unbelievable. Thanks so much, Brendan. We appreciate it.